Recently, we, a group of German women and friends, traveled to the south of Israel with our friend Jonathan Feldstein of the Genesis 123 Foundation to witness the aftermath of the atrocities of October 7th. Previously, we had seen many horrific videos and images, but nothing could prepare us for what we would see that day. We began our day at a soldier's respite tent station, where volunteers provided food for weary soldiers. As we conversed with the soldiers serving in the South, we had the opportunity to express our support and appreciation. Our guide, a soldier in reserves, briefed us on the war and what we were to see. Our first stop was at a public migunit, a protective concrete structure. As hundreds of rockets flew overhead the morning of the 7th, people sought refuge, only to be trapped as terrorists threw grenades inside and shot at the victims. The concrete walls were covered in bullet and shrapnel holes, next to stickers and pictures of the fallen, and graffiti in honor of loved ones. It was difficult to grasp that we stood where many had lost their lives. From there, we went to a makeshift graveyard and memorial site for the cars of the victims of October 7th. Terrorists shot people and vehicles, lit them on fire while still alive, and fired RPGs at them. Some bodies were burned to the point of being unidentifiable. We were speechless as we looked at police cars, ambulances, and civilian cars placed in a vast parking lot, riveted with bullet holes, without owners to claim them.
I just have no words because I don't even know how anybody can be so evil to completely torch things and burn and shoot, and I just don't know how anybody can be so evil. And this is Hamas, so please do not turn a blind eye to this. This is evil at its worst.
In the city of Sderot, we learned of the tragic story of the Suissa family, who attempted to find shelter from rockets, unaware that terrorists had invaded the city. Both parents were shot. Their two daughters, ages 6 and 3, who were in the car, are now orphaned. Our guide, an ambulance driver and Zaka volunteer, told how his police officer friends fought terrorists who took over the Sderot police station, killing everyone in their path till Israel sent a tank to demolish it till it collapsed on top of them. Many civilians and police officers died that day. Our next stop was the Nova Music Festival Memorial at Re'im, where about 3,500 festival goers attended and 364 people were murdered. Stands with pictures of the fallen stood on the grounds with memorial trinkets and sentimental items at their base, and across from it, the long and vast yellow field the festival goers ran through to escape from the terrorists that hunted them down with shooting. Many were taken hostage in Gaza and are still there.
I felt called to come and share the love of God, and it's an honor to be here, but it's also a deep sadness. Looking at each photo, it's just a photo, but that's a person. You see their belongings, their loved ones have come here. They're not going to hold them again. They're not going to see them again. It's still surreal, even though I am standing here. It's still surreal what all these young people went through. No one should have an opinion on anything that's going on here unless they come here themselves.
Es fühlt sich schrecklich an. Ich muss ganz ehrlich sagen, mir fehlen Worte, um es wiederzugeben, was wir hier fühlen. Durch diesen Friedhof zu gehen oder durch diese Gedenkstätte, das wühlt einen auf und man fragt sich, warum es so etwas geben muss. Warum muss es so weit kommen und warum musste das passieren? Es ist schrecklich. Ich würde es mir wünschen, von Herzen wünschen, dass die Welt erfährt, was hier abgeläuft, was hier passiert ist und was hier nicht nur am 7. Oktober passiert ist, sondern seit dem 7. Oktober und davor und was Hamas macht, welch eine Ungerechtigkeit hier stattfindet und dass die Menschenrechte hier absolut nicht eingehalten werden und man tritt sie mit Füßen und ich würde es mir von Herzen wünschen, dass die Welt hier einfach hinguckt und es einen lauten Aufschrei gibt und dass man sich dagegen wehrt.
I do Israel advocacy for quite some time, so I'm very much in the loop of what goes on. And I've also been in Israel before during wartime, but this is quite different because I've been here today, been in places and on streets where the horrible, I don't even have words for them, the Hamas terrorists brutally murdered innocent civilians. I've been to bomb shelters full of holes. I've been on streets where families got killed, entire families where little children were crying for help in the car. I mean, it's absolutely shocking, and I think the whole world needs to know. And if you are still crying out for pro-Palestine, free Palestine, then you know that you support Hamas, a terrorist organization, and you support the killing and burning of babies and the brutal rape of women. And I invite anybody to come and see for yourself what it's like.
Lastly, at sunset, we arrived at the Gaza outlook of Sderot, the Gaza border, 700 meters away. In the distance, we saw a protective fence and wall and a silhouette of ruined buildings behind it, as loud booms sounded in the distance as the IDF had just entered Rafah. 125 hostages remain in Gaza, and the trauma of October 7th lives on amongst a nation still fighting, unable to heal amidst perpetual terror. Our hearts were forever changed on that day. Our hearts stand with Israel.